On this canvas, I painted over some symbols that I'd previously drawn that related to the goddess Isis. I painted over in black, waited for it to dry, and then wrote on the back that I wanted to learn more about this idea of the black box device that I wrote about in my first book. So I just let the paintbrush go wherever it wanted to go, because it's obviously something that I don't understand, and I thought that drawing something like a box would have been no use. And at first it just looked like lots of loops that sort of connected with each other. And I was kind of guided to use these sort of earthy colours like green and browns, which I don't use that often together. But when I showed it to my daughter before I'd actually filled in the rest of the colour, she said it's a monkey. And I just said, oh, not again. Which is quite funny because I just feel like whatever the meaning of it is, I'm not quite getting because it keeps coming up so often. I've already talked about the idea of the monkey nut, and the goddess Newt connection, and this idea that the ancient Egyptians worshipped baboons, or at least had baboon-headed gods because they worshipped the sun, and that Thoth was sometimes depicted with a baboon head. I wonder if it also means chimp, chimpanzee, and the beginning of that word, as in chum or kem, which was the ancient name for Egypt and means black or dark, so that the idea of the black could refer back to this box. There's also Kemenu or Chemenu, which means 8 town, after the Ogdoad, which was a group of 8 deities. I kept wondering what colour I needed to do for the centre, but it was important to just leave that as it was. So there seems to me to be a reference to this opening the mouth ritual, this idea of black hole, something coming out of the void when you speak. So transferring something from thought, one realm to another realm. It also made me think of other orifices in the body, particularly this bird that's present. As usual, there's other birds around, so sort of making up the main face, there's different birds and other figures. Off to the right is looked like a bird that's got its wings outstretched, but emerging out of that is a hand that's doing this sort of mudra that is quite often the bull reference, that's pointing towards what looks a bit like, I think, either a fish or some other creature. Am I any of the wiser? No, but I did like it, and I also think it's funny. I also thought it was interesting that the Ogdoad, the males are often depicted with the heads of frogs, because I had a dream back in March where myself and a friend were with a celebrity. We were helping to make a mental health video, part of which involved jumping around in the mud and pretending to be frogs, which just seemed such a nutty dream at the time.